Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hey there, welcome back to the 2020 Rewind. We're taking a look back at some more level 50 characters I have on the City of Heroes Homecoming server, Excelsior Shard. This is number 16. This is Kherberus. He's my second Sentinel of the bunch. He has Psychic Blast, he has Willpower, and he has Dark Mastery. Let's take a look at his build. Let's see what I'm trying to do, and then we're going to go ahead, of course, and run some missions solo and team, and see if it makes any sense, or am I just blowing smoke? Here we go. Here's his build. Psy Blast. I've got just about everything here, with the exception of the single target Scramble Thoughts, which is a low damage stun. It's a decent power, and if I was maybe playing a defender, corruptor, or something like that, where I was trying to leverage some control, some stun powers, then it would make sense. But I'm not on this Sentinel. Then for willpower, I've taken just about everything as well, with the exception of the self-res. And that's because I just don't find self-res as that useful, although I will give props to Homecoming. They have made several of these powers, several of these reses, both in armor sets and in buff sets, have like a secondary usable feature to them, which I actually discovered on my fire farmer brute there, who had Rise of the Phoenix, and lo and behold, I discovered you can actually click that power and not be dead. You just have to be low on hit points, and it does a stun and knocks guys back. It's actually pretty cool. I also did not take the tier 9 Strength of Will, and the reason for that, and I'm kind of 50-50 on these with my builds in general, is because I have so many set bonuses and the Incarnates and stuff that I'm already capped to defenses or resistance on a lot of these melee-ish or high survivable characters. That what's more capping gonna do? Now, Strength of Will is kind of a little bit strange because it provides some resistance to a bunch of mez, which I already have. It gives plus recovery, which I've got a bunch of that going. So the only thing that's really usable here is the resistance to damage, which of course is always nice, but I don't think I need it. And I'm gonna, that's part of what the tests are for, right? I've played this guy only a little bit. He was like a lot of the builds I'm putting together. He was kind of one of these, unpopular or you've never seen type of set combos before. I haven't seen too many Psy blasting Sentinels out there, especially combined with willpower, and then throw Dark Master on top of that. So the idea here is I was trying to find a bunch of weird combos across the board. That kind of started my 50-50 showcase last year when I did 50 level 50s, and I finished that at the beginning of the summer. And then I started this 2020 rewind because I'm just a glutton for making a bunch of stupid videos. But anyway, uh, let's take a look at what I'm trying to accomplish here. What's interesting, what's weird about this build, and what's unique. And actually, I think I tried to leverage some cool crap. First things first, Psy Blast across the board has some decent debuff of recharge. I've talked about this with some of my other builds that I had Psy Blasting, but you find it in Mental Blast, you find it in Psy Scream, you find it in Psy Strike, you find it in Psy, no, not Psy NATO, you find it in Psychic Whale, though. So if you look at all those minus recharges, you can do a decent amount of debuffing to the enemy's ability to attack quickly. So that's kind of the point there, right? You're trying to give yourself a little bit more survivability because now the enemy is slow on their recovery, on their, not the recovery, but their ability to recharge their powers and attack you. So just kind of glance here. You got Psychic Whale has a minus 70% recharge debuff. What is it? Psychic Psy NATO has 30%. Psy Strike has 15%. Psy Scream has 50% recharge debuff. Mental Blast has 30%. So you just start adding that all up on your enemy, and they're not going to be able to attack you very often, which is going to be useful because willpower isn't the strongest of survivable sets. It's going to rely upon a lot of like overlapping abilities, and I think it leans heavily towards healing, regeneration, that kind of stuff. It's sort of like bio armor a little bit. So you got like high pain threshold, boosts your max health. You got fast healing, boost your regen. Where is it? Up for the challenge gives you more regen, quick recovery, more recovery. You've got, I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So your numbers are going to be a little bit shaky. Like, check this out. Here's me going, hey, I got a high survival build, and I got crap for defense, right? I got single digits and teens. That's probably giving some of you the shakes right now. But don't you worry, I've got a plan here. Resistance isn't too bad for the big boys here. Smash lethal, psi of course. You got some pretty good psi damage. One thing you could do if you're concerned about the survivability is you could get like tough from the fighting pool and cap your smash lethal to 75%. That's something I could look into, but I didn't because I'm going for that minus recharge. I have hopefully enough survivability, and the other thing I'm going to be leveraging here is with Dark Mastery. I've got Darkest Night sitting here. So, Darkest Night is that's a hit debuff that you'll be able to throw out there. If I take a look at the stats on Darkest Night, it's got a 15% debuff on it. So that's kind of the idea there, that I'm going to be able to mess with people's to hit me on top of everything else. So that'll hopefully help a little bit. And also you'll notice I put the chance for recharge slow from Dark Watchers in here as well, because that's going to give me another 25% chance to debuff. I don't know if the proc chances on this toggle are as low as they could be on some of the other toggles that are out there, especially like your like patch type of toggle, like Snowstorm is an example of this one. I've put like damage procs in Snowstorm before, and they only like fire like, I don't know, seems like every 20 seconds or something like that. So I don't know if that's the same thing here. It's hard to kind of track this debuff or this proc, because how do you see if somebody's recharge is being slowed, except for using the scanner temporary power, which I usually don't worry about. But anyway, I've got that chance to recharge slow there. I've got another one sitting here in Engulfing Darkness. I've got another one sitting here in Smite. So you can see what I was trying to do here. I was trying to get a whole bunch of minus rechargey type of powers. Same thing over here in Weaken Resolve. That's kind of another little thing I'll do with a lot of my builds, is I'll put some of these obscure proc type things that probably nobody ever uses. But I'm like, well, what does this thing do? Like, can I leverage it if I put a whole bunch of them in there? So that's one of my strategies for survivability here. So I've got that slotted 1, 2, 3, 4 times that I can tell. I got Psy Whale. I've got the Absolute Amazement Chancer to hit debuff, so that'll kind of team up with my Darkest Night. That'll also team up with Netherworld Grasp, which has a minus 5% to hit debuff. What is it? Engulfing Darkness has minus 5.25 to hit debuff. Smite has minus 5.25. So I do have some to hit debuff going out there. And you also probably caught a sneak peek that Netherworld Grasp. I've also put a recharge debuff proc here from Basilisk's Gaze. That's always a fun set to try to pronounce. Basilisk's Gaze. Anyway, so I've got that there. That has a proc chance of 25%. So I got a bunch of minus recharge procking with my blasts and just the set bonus type of things. And I've got a sizable amount of minus to hit. And I'm also going to get some more minus to hit from my Incarnates, just to kind of spoil that for you. Let me scoot this up so you can see it. So my Incarnates, I'm taking Gravitic right here. And Gravitic comes with, oh, I lied. I thought I took the one that has the minus to hit the buff. No, I took the one with the minus recharge. So I got Gravitic minus recharge, so that's going to slow them down some more. The recovery really is not going to do me any good, but the minus special is pretty good. So that's going to prevent, or at least lower, those enemies with controls or with heals, that sort of stuff. That'll lower, that debuffery that they're throwing out there. All right, other than that, I've got one other quirky, weird thing I was trying to go for here, which this will be interesting to see how this works in real life, as they say. Scoot that up again. You'll also notice, let me hide this. Oops, I don't want to hide that. I want to hide this. I've also taken a bunch of chances to heal, right? I've got Entropic Chaos chance to heal. I've got that once. I've got it twice. I've got it 3 times over here in TK Blast. I've got that 3 times. I took and put the Sandman chance to heal in Will Domination, which is a damage sleep power. So I've got a chance to heal sitting there. So that's 4 chance to heals. Let's see, do I have it anywhere else? I don't think so. But then I've got high pain threshold or pain tolerance that has preventive medicines proc for absorb sitting in it. I've got fast healing has the panacea proc for healing and endurance sitting in that one. Quick recovery sitting here with the chance to self heal. The power transfer. Where else? I got some weird crap. Oh yeah, down here in, scoot this up again. Health, I've got the Numina's regen recovery, and I've got regenerative tissue regeneration. And then over here in stamina, I've got the performance shifter, endurance, and Enmod. So I've got lots of self heals, lots of regen boosting, lots of endurance boosting, lots of recovery boosting all over the place, right? So I feel like I'm pretty good there. Uh, and I got up to the challenge is another regen toggle that you throw out there. So your ability to regenerate health is greatly increased at all times. So the effects on this one, it boosts your reach or your regen, 2.5 times, 253%. So there you go. I got lots of little things sprinkled all over the place for healing, for the recovery, for the regeneration. Then I got the minus recharge. I got that to hit debuffs. So I'm trying to skin the cat with a different strategy. I've been talking about this many times about layered defenses where I'll have a bunch of resistances, defenses, and it's hopefully some debuff or control to kind of layer together. Same idea here, except that this is maybe a little bit more dangerous, a little bit less reliable. I do have some resistance, obviously. I do have some defense, but I'm going to rely upon regen and heal and minus recharging. So I need to be attacking to get the minus recharge. I need to be attacking to get the minus to hit. I need to be just constantly going after the enemy, which shouldn't be a problem. The other thing about this guy, unlike with Kaldron, who I played in melee mostly, this guy's more of a stand back ranged sentinel. So I'm going to be standing back firing at everything in front of me because I have really no reason to go into melee. I'm trying to think, do any of these powers actually require what is it? I think does up to the challenge require melee regardless of the odds, the blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I don't think so. I think the actual willpower for tanks and brutes you need to be in melee for some of the stuff to kick off, but I don't think that's true for sentinels. But I may be wrong. Just trying to see. Yeah, it doesn't not appear thus. So there you go. That's kind of the idea. The rest of this is pretty much, you got blasting with damage procs. So I've got, devastation. Oh yeah, here's my other stupid strategy. I threw some chance to holds out there too, right? I've got one in mental blast. I've got one in will domination, which also has a sleep. I've got one in psi strike. I've got one in is it TK Blast? Yeah, TK Blast has one. Then I've got the hold in Otherworld Grasps. So I have 4 holds, or right there. Let's see. Wall of Force has a resistance debuff proc in it. What else? I've got a bunch of Frankenstein weird stuff going on here. It's going to be an interesting test, I think. Psi Scream, chance for absorb with the Superior Sentinel's Ward, so there's some more survivability. I've got the Opportunity Strikes is sitting over here in Psi NATO. I've got a multi-strike that just gives me some resistance boosting in Psi Whale. Oh, I did take tough. Like, here's me going, oh, I could take tough. Duh, I did take tough. See, I was already thinking. I do have the fighting pool. So yeah, I got the fighting pool. I got the force of will pool going on here, which I do have a single target debuff. I really like force of will. If you haven't played this pool's power set, take it. I think you'll like it. Weaken Resolve is a nice single target debuff for resistance and stuff. And you can proc it a little bit. So I've got Weaken Resolve right here. Take a look at the effects. Minus 10% defense, minus 4 or 5% resistance. I do have that recharge debuff proc in it and has a minus 3.5%. It's a hit debuff in it as well as part of its overall powers. You can put some damage procs in there. I didn't on this one. Then I got the slow resistance winner's gift because I don't want to be slowed. I want to be able to move, get in and out if I have to. And what else? Engulfing Darkness. That's my other little baby nuke. So Psy Whale and Engulfing Darkness. Those are my two reasons to get into melee. And then let's take a look at our Incarnates to see what craziness is going on there. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to remember here. I got the max hit points sitting here in Unbreakable Guard. I got the Psi status resistance Aegis there. I've got the Impervium Armor Psi resistance. I was trying to make sure I had that pretty capped up. And that's, oh, Indomitable Will. Global 5% resistance. Spoiler, this is an expensive build if you look at it. I mean, check this out. I've got, the ATO sets, and I've got some special crap thrown all over the place, all these different procs. Yeah, I think I've got the scaling resistances down here and heightened senses. So this wasn't a cheap build. It's not my worst, that's for sure, but it's up there. It's probably approaching $500 million, you know, right? I mean, luckily I don't buy all this stuff straight off the market. I've got so many characters now, and I've been playing on Homecoming pretty much since it launched now, that I've got a whole bunch of this stuff stashed in my base bins or just, thrown in my email. So I've got all these things. So whenever I make a new character and I get them up to level 50, I'm not wanting for slots, right? Or for sets. I've probably got at least a third of these things stashed somewhere because I'm always crafting stuff as well. As my farmers are farming, I'll craft stuff left, right, and center, throw it in my bins, or even my other characters as I'm leveling them up. I'm crafting whatever looks good that I need that I know is useful. I craft it, throw it in the bins, and I've got it for later. All right, let's get into the conclusion here, right? We want to get to the Incarnate stuff that you're dying to know about. So I already talked about one of them, Gravitic, but what else did I take here? So I went ahead and grabbed Vigor. Let's take a look at the total numbers if I do the pop out. So we've got crap for defense. We've got, decent smash lethal psi. But my main thing I was going for is survivability would be on the regen side of things. So like 628% regen. That's huge, right? I mean, that's with all my crap firing away and I'm getting all kinds of, health back. So that's my main thing. If I get hit by some minus regen, I'm screwed. But then I got Vigor here, which is going to give me some more healing. So it's going to help with my regen some more. That should kick that up. That kicks up to 770%. Hello. I mean, it's freaking insanity, right? And then I've got the endurance reduction on there. I'm not worried about endurance. This is probably one of my best slotted for, just out of the gate, right? I got 3.5 recovery, 1 drain. So I'm already 3.5 times recovery here. And then when I turn on vigor, right, my endurance drain drops down to 0.5. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to be hemorrhaging my endurance at all. If I'm running Darkest Night, it kicks it up to 0.8. Not a big deal. Even if I'm running Mighty Leap and running around with that on, which I do because I like Takeoff as a little pseudo control power, a little foot stomp there. So I'll usually have that running anyway. But even with all that stuff on, right, it's not a big deal. I'm still 2-3 to 1, recovery to endurance drain. Then I'm running Assault Radial because I do want to be able to damage, because that's my other thing, right? I don't think I stand in there and take a beating type of build here. So I need to clear mobs fairly quickly. So Assault Radial is going to give me that chance to double hit. It's going to give me just overall damage boosting to my powers. You can kind of see as an example here. Let's take a look at, see, size scream. So size scream, if I pop this out, already got it popped out. It's doing like 138 damage up from its base of 63. Assault should kick that up. Yeah, so it's kicking that up to 155, 156 there. Chance to double hit on that power. So it's giving me, what is that, like, I don't know, 20% boost or something like that to the damage. I don't know, somebody else do the math. I don't really feel like doing it myself, but there you go. Boom. I also grabbed for my Destiny. I took Rebirth because I already got Mez protection, so I don't need Clarion. I could grab Barrier, but that's the coward's way out. I'm sorry, all you Barrier lovers out there. I'm gonna go with max HP in a heal, right? So I can buff up my overall hit points pretty juicily. That should show up actually in my regen as well. Let's see if that changes here. If I kick that off or not. No, it's not showing in the numbers when I get max HP. Anyway, so boom, it's a heal, max HP boost. I've got the Sears. I like the Sears as a lore pet because the buffer one has healing and I think fortitude. I think it throws on you, so that'll help me survive. And then, like I said, I already have Gravitic, so minus recharge to stack with all my other minus recharge that I'm throwing out there. So anyway, there's your idea. Oh yeah, and I also have Mighty. I love me some Mighty because when I go in for the kill, when I go in for the engulfing darkness, Psy Whale combo, boom boom power, double hit, double tap. I then want to follow it up with Mighty. So 1, 2, 3 when I get into melee. So that'll kind of be my strategy. Standing back, firing Psy Blast downstream, have Darkest Night out there to debuff that, and then get into melee and boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, lay him out. Throw a Cyanado while I'm up there as well. Why not? And then just devastate everything that is standing until it's not standing anymore. So that's the plan. I don't know if I'll execute it, but we're gonna sure as hell give it a shot, right? I think this will probably be actually maybe a better, unlike Kaldron, where I was kind of like, do I play this as a team or solo? I think he was better solo than team. I think this guy might actually be better on a team because he's going to be able to lend in that more blastiness, and he's relying more on some debuffery that'll help a team, more so than helping himself. So I think this guy's going to be better on a team than trying to run crap solo, especially if he runs into robots or something like that where they're really heavily psi resistant. Most of the stuff I'm fighting in the test stuff, the council, they're not psi resistant, so they're gonna take a lump. But there you go. That's the idea. That's the build. That's the plan. We'll catch you in the solo stuff. I'm gonna run some council, and then I'll run some team stuff with some delicious pugs and see what the hell happens with that. Because that's always worth some giggles. Getting half a dozen people together that you don't know and watching them just utterly crash and burn or dominate. I don't know. Catch you in the next video. Later.